Welcome to the Faster, Easier, Better show. This podcast is short, fun, and jam-packed with good ideas that you can start using right away.
Welcome to another episode. I'm your co-host, Ellen Goodwin, along with my co-host.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year to you, too. It is a new year. Welcome to 2022.
Thank goodness. I'm ready. No, 2021 wasn't all bad, but I always look to the future for better. I mean, and that's kind of our topic today is about goal setting, which isn't like you don't set a goal to be worse. You set a goal to be better. And so I'm always, optimistic that this is the year.
Right.
And it is that hope that keeps you going. If once you've lost hope, you've lost everything.
Right, exactly. But did you set resolutions? Do you set resolutions? I don't.
I believe in making a public announcement about what you intend to do so that other people can hold you accountable. And I guess that's the only part of a New Year's resolution that I believe in. What you say, it shouldn't just be some drunk utterance on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. New Year's Day is more of a hungover utterance. I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that. But it should be something that you put some thought into. And this probably will surprise no one that knows me that I started planning for 2022 in late November. I'm done. I'm ready. I mean, I started.
Good for you.
I actually shut down 2021 already. I'm already moved on.
Nice.
So I think that by the time New Year's Eve and New Year's Day rolls around, efficient people, smart. No, if you don't do this, doesn't mean you're not smart. But I'm just saying efficient people who are good at goals, usually have already sat down, reflected on what worked, what didn't work in 2021, thought about what do I really want to focus on for 2022, and they're starting to formulate a plan for it, or they already have completed it by the time New Year's Eve rolls around. So if someone asks them, what is your New Year's resolution, you're really just stating your goal. You're not stating a resolution. That's, I guess, my long answer to a short question.
Well, and I also, when it comes to goals, because one of the things that I know we've talked about is your goals have to be specific.
Yes.
You can't just say, hey, in 2022, I'm going to lose weight.
What does that mean?
Exactly. I mean, if you lose an ounce,
yeah, right.
You've lost weight. Boom. Goal achieved. No, you have to be very specific. And people get hung up on the SMART goals, which are, that's an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based, time-oriented, that you have a deadline. But I think those are wrong. And I'm fine with the specific and measurable because you have to have that. That's what we just said, Yeah. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Okay, that's very specific and very measurable because I get on the scale, I can tell exactly, if I can do basic math, I can see when I've lost 20 pounds. It's the achievable and realistic that I really don't like because who's to say whether a goal is achievable or not? I mean, if some little kid says, one day I'm going to be an Olympic champion, well, who's to say that's not going to come true? Because every 2 years when we have spring or summer or winter Olympics, you know what? There's champions.
Well, it's like perfection. You're never going to get there.
No.
Maybe, I guess you could get there, but it's the striving for it, perfection that drives you. I will say when it comes to, believable and achievable, to me, it's about, I actually call my whole system beat yesterday. It's about just being a little bit better than the day before. And by having smaller, achievable goals that I can do, you break it down. What are you going to do for the year, for a month, for a week, and a day? And the daily goals are all related to the big thing.
Exactly.
So the big thing is big, and it's and usually you don't get to it at the end of the year, which is frustrating. So I only get to celebrate I'm a success once, on when you wrap up your year.
Work.
I know. I think you have to have things that you can achieve and then celebrate that achievement daily.
Yes, and that's where I would pull in instead of saying, achievable. I would say that you have an action plan, which is just exactly what you're talking about with achievable goals. You know, you have an action plan that I'm going to work towards this. They're milestones. And then, you know, whether your goal is realistic or not. Again, who's to say whether a goal is realistic? I believe that the R in SMART goals would be better. It would be better if it was a response plan. That would be the R, because when you're trying to achieve that goal, let's go back to that 20 pounds. Something's going to happen. You're going to go off track. Maybe you go on vacation and you're just like, woo, I'm just eating all the food. Diet be darned, and you'll come back and you'll be like, okay, I need to get back on track. If you have a response plan, you've planned for that. So you come back and you know what you're going to do to get back on track to lose those 20 pounds or whatever your goal is, that you have a response plan when things go off the rails.
And with the beat yesterday, then, okay, so you had a bad day. It's easy to beat that day. But when you had a good day, you have to try and push yourself to be a little bit better the next day. And if you continue to do that throughout the year, it's amazing. And I think that you celebrate when you beat that day. If you, what I would go backwards and say about realistic is what may not be realistic. It's like your to-do list. Sometimes it's unrealistic. You look at it and maybe when you wrote it all down, it made like, oh, I can get all that done, no problem.
Super optimistic at that point.
So just like anything else, I know this sounds so boring, but it is what it is. So you have to have, just like you would with your to-do list, the goals that no matter what, this is what I'm doing. These would be nice and they're down lower, but there's some hierarchy of these goals no matter what this year. And then if I can, or if there's time, I know it sounds wishy-washy, but realistic, it's okay. If I can get to these, this would be great. But these, no matter what, I'm going to do. And I think that helps you to get so thinned out where you're not really doing, you're doing a little bit of everything versus what.
You're not trying to juggle everything.
So realistic in the sense, you've got this long list, your bucket list, your whatever people call. And by the way, I don't like lists for goals. I think it's too structured and too static, and So I think it should be something on index cards or Post-it notes or in a computer where you can change move and something more flexible. And I mean, I could talk about, I know we're running out of time, but I could talk about this for hours because this is I've told this story before, but people say, well, how did you do all those things? Goals. That's the answer. I'm not handsome. I'm not tall. I'm not thin. I'm not smart. And I'm not talented. But darn it, I'm goal-oriented. And that's the difference.
You're goal-oriented.
Yep.
Boom. We can always come back and talk about goals another week, too.
That's my goal.
Because that's your goal?
That's my goal.
Okay. My goal is to have our listeners come back and join us again next week for another episode